seeing is believing. All right. Another fun activity to do with children is counting discrete movements like jumping. Here I'm integrating locomotor movement, jumping, with counting in data analysis. First, the child will verbalize a numeral that represents the number of jumps he wants the class to perform, he or she wants the class to perform. And sometimes I do this in a little chant where we sing a little, where we go, little jumps, all in a row. How many jumps will Oscar show? Anyway, when you look at this next video, I want you to notice that the children are counting as they're jumping. That's an example of one-to-one correspondence. This activity, of course, requires gross motor control. So before they even can start counting their jumps, they have to be able to jump with a certain amount of control. It also requires cognitive control. And so you're going to see again how intertwined movement, cognition, and self-regulation really are. Mastery in one is concurrent with mastery in another.
Okay, I know, David, do you want to show us how many jumps? 10! That's a big number. Everybody, ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
After several children have demonstrated, we graph the results. The happy faces represent the children, and the colored spots represent the quantity of jumps each child selected. Once the graph is complete, I ask an open-ended question. We analyze the data. What do you notice about this graph? I then might ask more specific questions like, who did the most? Who did the least? Were there any the same? So one of the things about all of these activities is that movement is very engaging for the children. And if they're engaged, they're learning. If they're paying attention, they're learning. Another math concept is patterning. And this comes in algebra. And here I'm going to integrate an AB pattern with the dance element of level. So after children have learned how to learn what a high and low level shape is, they apply that knowledge by standing in a line, making an AB pattern of high and low level shapes. One child makes a high shape, another a low shape, and so on. And it's important to notice that not all high level shapes are the same. One child has their arms over their head, one child has their arms by their side. Notice, too, the differences in the low-level shapes. Describing these differences to children is not only flattering, they love to be the center of attention, but it helps to develop their understanding of what makes this lineup an AB pattern. It's the concept of level, not the repetition of identical shapes. Spatial relationship is another math category that falls under geometry. And of course, that's directly linked to the dance element of relationship. Oftentimes in dance, we explore spatial relationships by creating obstacle courses with props. And lots of fun to do this, to either sequence the events in a story or a journey. In the story Step by Step by Diane Wolkstein, a little ant goes over a stone, across a leaf, under a branch, and through an. I set up the props in the classroom to represent this sequence. You add music and the dance begins. Children love to go through these obstacle courses over and over. You that after several repetitions, they will be able to recite the sequence of the story with accuracy. In conclusion, I'd like to demonstrate a math dance experience that culminates in a circle dance. I often like to introduce movements to children using objects that I put in motion. Familiar objects such as a maraca, and I will ask them to predict, how is it going to move? Can you show me how it's going to move with your body? I use a little tiny top for turn and a feather for float. And so these objects first inspire the movement, but then I create cards of them that can be manipulated to create patterns or sequences of movements that the children can use. And these essentially are icons for movement. So we can build a dance sequence, which we call a dance sentence. I can then leave these with the teacher and the children can build these sequences and repeating patterns and embed them in a circle dance. And so that and I was hoping we could do a circle dance. Volunteers to do that? Just error. No? Okay. Well, I'll describe the circle dance to you. So you might have children say they do shake, freeze, turn, and float. So that is sequencing a series of movements. They could walk around in the circle for 16 counts, taking one step every single time. That's one-to-one correspondence. And they're counting. If the children travel in and out of the circle, that's an example of conservation. So the quantity remains the same, but the form, the form has changed. And then, of course, I can also embed patterns in there. Let's shake, freeze. That's an A-B pattern. As a Wolf Trap teaching artist, I partner with the teacher in sharing art strategies that can be used in the classroom. This partnership involves modeling and coaching so that the teacher has the opportunity to practice the art skill in the classroom. In this way, the teacher is empowered to infuse the arts in the curriculum well into the future.
So Rachel represents a wonderful group of Wolf Trap teaching artists who are working across the country, interacting with early childhood educators and the children in their classrooms, as well as their families, and helping them to understand how to integrate the arts in their curriculum studies, in their skills development for the children, and in their lives. And we understand that through music, dance, drama, and puppetry, we can inspire young children as they learn through active engagement. So right now we'd like to take the time to respond to any questions that you all may have for us. And we'd be happy to, anything that you've heard, that you've seen, that you experienced.